What's up, everybody? It's Pallet Town Smeargle, and today, you're not going to see my face on camera. You're just going to be seeing a bunch of cards. Like I said in the channel updates right before this was put on, we're doing a little Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG on the channel. Just going to do some deck profiles. If this picks up, then we'll go from there. But without further ado, let's get into the first deck profile. I've got about 10 decks right now in various stages of completion. All of them but one have a main deck done. I'm just waiting on 2 cards for one of my decks. And then I'll have that main deck, the extra deck, and the side deck for that one done, so that'll be kind of nice. But all of them have a main deck done. I usually have to swap cards around from side decks because I don't have a lot of money. But you'll see like some of the decks I play are kind of expensive, so yeah. Like, first off, this first deck we're going to play, or at least showcase for you here, and sorry about the lighting, it's kind of funky, is Nekroz. I know there's probably a lot of these out right now. Excuse me for 1 second, I see the problem. A lot of these decks are out right now, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and kind of do one of these anyways, just because this is a deck that I really enjoy playing. I know it's kind of everywhere right now, and pardon me as I adjust a few settings mid-video, but anyways, like I said, it's a deck that's everywhere right now. It's very popular, but and the only reason I really decided to build this deck was when the Secret Forces first came out. I bought I had a bonus come in, and I bought 5 boxes of the set, and out of each box I pulled 1 Brio, so I just decided, well, I guess it's time to build the deck. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to go kind of quickly through since there's a lot of these out, but I'm going to explain some choices and things like that a little bit just in case you don't know, but I'm not going to get too in-depth. First off, 3 Nekroz of Unicore. He's your main way of going into the Jinlock play, the dreaded Jinlock, by overlaying him with one of the Manju or Senju, and then going to the Volleyball Chain, sending the card to the graveyard, and just doing some degenerate stuff. It's also really good because his on-board effect shuts down monsters from the extra deck, just straight up negates their effects, which is awesome. He also pitches from hand to get one of your cards back from the graveyard. It's your graveyard recycler. That's pretty handy in this deck, because a lot of things end up going to the graveyard. Next, 2 Nekroz of Brionic. He's one of the main cards that goes to the graveyard because you pitch him from your hand to add a Nekroz monster from your deck. It doesn't have to be a ritual monster. You can get Shurit or the Sorcerer, or Dance Princess, or the really bad other guy. But and his other effect too, is pretty good because he allows you to put extra deck monsters back into the extra deck, which has come in handy for me a couple of times playing Burning Abyss. You don't necessarily want to send their Dante to the graveyard because it triggers his effect to put something from their graveyard back to their hands. You just put them back in the extra deck, then you don't have to worry about that. Next, 2 Nekroz of Colossalus. I know a lot of people are cutting theirs down to 1, so I don't understand that, but once I do understand it, I'll consider doing it. The main reason I don't understand it is I think this guy is awesome. Pitching to search for a spell is great, and he's your main tool for Jinlock, and if he's on board, you can activate his effect if they have a monster from the extra deck. It negates its effect and makes its attack and defense 0, which means you can activate during the damage step, so you can do some shenanigans there. And a lot of people tend to forget that, so they'll attack into its butt end with something, big. 2,500 attack usually is or 2,300 or more is usually an extra deck monster, like Dark Rebellion Dragon or anything like that, and you bop that attack and defense down and you take away its effect and it's done. And that also works for any Pendulum monsters from the extra deck, because it just says any monster special summoned from the extra deck, which is key. If Klee Pendulum summons on you and you don't have them in Jinlock because you didn't go for Jinlock because they're playing Klee, you can take away that attack points. You can take away their effect. If skill drain, no, you can't because of their ability to not be affected by level 3s. But it works for other Pendulum effects like Ignites or Yosenjus if they're playing the Pendulum build, things like that. Next, 2 Nekroz of Valkyries. If I had a third, I would consider playing it, but I don't right now, and I think 2 is just fine for my purposes, because I tend to be a little bit more aggressive. I know that's not generally the way you play this deck, but, his Swift Scarecrow-like effect is good, and his drawing ability is awesome. Sacking 2 to draw 2 is always great, or 1 to draw 1 is good, too. 1 Nekroz of Gungnir and 1 Nekroz of Trish. These are my mainstay plays in the deck, if you will. Gungnir's good at protecting stuff from getting destroyed, as well as pitching to pop. And then Trish is just nasty. That effect is crazy, and people are trying to play around it like crazy right now. But you summon this once, or even if you have to, twice in a game, and it's pretty much done. Your opponent's done so, because that's so hard to come back from. Onto the monsters in the deck that are not ritual. 3 Manju searches any ritual monster or spell, and 3 Senju searches any ritual monster. Good for rank 4 plays, and another play that I like to do in this deck, which I'll show you later. 2 Shuret. He's great because he's searchable with Brionic's effect, and he gets to be an entire cost for a ritual monster, and he searches you a warrior Nekroz ritual monster, so your Trish, your Brio, or your Classless. Can't say too much about this guy, he's awesome. 1 Jin for the Jin lock, and that 2,000 butt's nothing to shake a stick at either. And now on to the last portion of the monsters, which are 7 hand traps. So the first 3 are Triple Maxi. This card is amazing. It's wonderful. Putting it at 3 in this deck is probably one of the best decisions I think I've ever made with this deck. Mainly because my meta back home was mostly Burning Abyss players. Now that I've moved, I really don't have a feel for the meta yet. But there's not that many. But special summons still happen a lot, and if they don't, it's an easy side-outable card. But even just getting 1 or 2 draws can push you ahead, because you search and deck thin so much that drawing 2 cards, you're probably going to draw into the card you need. The next 2 hand traps I play are 2 Effect Veilers. I know a lot of people are cutting this from the deck, and I don't think that's a good idea. Effect negation is amazing right now. Yeah, enough said about that. Just negate an effect, catch your opponent off guard, and do awesome stuff. The last of the 2 hand traps I play are 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Mainly because I got both of these out of the same box. I've been having some incredible pulls with buying boxes lately. It's been nuts. I'll have to do a box opening on here if that picks up, just to show you guys. But she's pretty good, actually. She's got me out of some tough spots. Your opponent summons a Manju or Senju, you activate her. They still get the search off, but that gets popped, so they can't go into Lavalval Chain to get a Jin lock. You throw their strategy off that way. It's a nice little way to kind of throw your opponent off of their game, because you've broken up their strategy, what they want to do. And being a level 3 tuner is also pretty good in this deck. For one of the cards I play, a couple cards that I play in my extra deck, and I'll show you that here soon. Onto the spells, we play a lot. Standard 2 Nekroz Cycle, 2 Mirror, 2 Kaleidoscope. You shouldn't really mess with that ratio, it's pretty good. Kaleidoscope lets you use cards from the extra deck, and you can summon multiple ritual monsters off of it, which is really cool. Like if you go for a 12, you can go Valk and Unicorn, or Trish and Colossus, or double Brio if you're, feeling gracious. But Mirror lets you use monsters in the graveyard, Nekroz monsters in the graveyard as a ritual fodder. So if you've used Shuret's effect already, you won't get his search off, but you can still use him as his entire cost, which is nice. And 2 Cycle lets you ritual summon a ritual monster from the graveyard, so you use stuff in your hand or on the field, and then from the graveyard. And all 6 of those spells work like a standard ritual spell, letting you get stuff from your hand to do stuff from your hand. Next I play 2 Reinforcements in the Army. We play 4 targets for this, and 2 Shuret and 2 Colossus. I think that's a pretty good ratio. I've seen people play 3 of this and 1 Colossus, and to me that seems a little cloggy. You've got 3 cards to get 1. Technically 5, technically 11, if you want to be real technical about it, but this card's good at 2 when you play 4. 1 prep, It's at 1 for a reason. It searches a ritual monster and gets your spell back from the graveyard. That's just broken. 1 Raigeki because you got to clear boards. 1 Book of Moon to get you out of Genlock or get you out of troublesome situations, or to flip one of your monsters face down to, if it gets Veiler, to get the effect off, which is pretty good. And then for traps, we play 2 Solemn Scolding. Since this is probably the only card you're going to be setting unless you're bluffing, or trying to, if you're afraid of the Mind Crush and so you set something because you got to search and you think your opponent's got the Mind Crush. Solemn Scolding is pretty much going to be the only card you have set, and to be able to negate a summon or just a card or an activation of effect and then destroy it is awesome. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Onto the extra, and I'm going to do extra inside with all of these decks just to kind of give you a look at my thought process. So first I'm going to do the Synchro Monsters. I'm going to do the 3 that you don't actually go into this deck, and then the 2 that you can. The first is Quasar Dragon, that's for your 12, and then 2 Arclights for your 4s. There's not much to say about them. You use Kaleidoscope. Arclight, you get search effects, which is good. And then the first card I play is Leo. He's the first one you play. I don't play the Star Eater. I like Leo's effect more. And sometimes it's good to just push for game. If your opponent's got 3,000 and all you have on board is a Trishul and you have that effect Veiler in hand, you can make a Leo. You can get the Trish's effect off, you can attack, you go to main phase 2, you make this thing, you pass turn, and your opponent can't really touch this thing. I mean, they can touch it when you play it, and that's about it, because you make it in main phase 2. Plus, he looks awesome with the new Astral Pack Super. He finally got the love he deserved. And the last Synchro we play in the deck is actually the new Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. This card's been really, really good, and it's why I play the 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit and the 2 Effect Veiler, because you got a level 1 with Veiler and a level 3 with the 2 Ghost Ogres. And so you can make this pretty easily, and it does some really degenerate things. Its effect is just really good. During either player's turn, I'm just going to read this off of it because I'm not too familiar with it. I've only resolved its effect twice, but both those times I won the duel because of it. When a level 5 or higher monster activates effect, you negate the activation if you do destroy it. So if they Trish you, gone. If they use Shadal monsters, gone. This card is just really good. I would suggest you testing it out if you have the ability to make it in your deck. It's a good level 7. Yeah. And it catches people off guard. Then for the rest of the deck, it's rank 4 Xyz. So 1 Dweller, stop graveyard stuff, Castel, puts, just be able to bounce. Daigusto Emerald is your best friend in this deck. You put stuff back from your graveyard into your deck and then draws 2 cards. And what's nice is, I've done this before where I've put a Unicorn and a Herald back into the deck so that I could Kaleidoscope that, and you still get to draw the 1 card. Which is awesome. 1 Diamond Dire Wolf to get you out of sticky situations. Exiton, Cowboy, number 80, 101, Dark Rebellion Dragon, and Lavalval Chain. So these rank 4s, a lot of them I don't really go into. Some of them are pretty situational, but I've used them all at least once in a duel since I've been playing Nekroz, and I really like them. Now onto the side. This is getting a bit lengthy, but we're going to do it anyways. We're going to go quick to the side. Denko Seka stops your back row plays, and since I do play the Scoldings, and I play some other traps in the side deck here, Denko's better than Decree in my opinion. Use what you got. 2 Kaiku. This is, instead of Lance, I like Kaiku just because he's a little more OG, and putting that body on the board and being able to stop the banishing is pretty good. 2 Flying Sea, mainly because when I was making this video I couldn't find my Ojama Trios, but Flying Sea is good too, to stop Burning Abyss and stop other Xyz plays. 3 MSTs. I still side my 3 copies. I don't main 2 like everybody else. I prefer to play my hand traps. And it's more of a meta call for me. It worked out well in the meta I was playing at last time. 2 non-fusion areas is my answer to Shadal's, because they still give me trouble. I do actually tech in the 2 decrees. That's mainly against Yang Zings to stop Yang Zing creation. But I wouldn't bring in the Denkos, and I'd take out the Scoldings if I brought these in. And then 2 Stygian Dirge to stop the Satellar Knight plays. Because the Satellar Knight XYZs are crazy, and this does help against Yang Zings, which that new Chao Fang is ridiculous, and the easiest way to summon it is to use Big C, the water monster, so you don't get to play. Because half the time they use Earth, Light, and Water. That's 9 right there, and then you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! So shutting that down and making their plays really awkward is nice. So that's my Nekroz deck in a nutshell, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it, and tune in next time, and we'll go ahead and get another deck profile up here for y'all to enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the new series on the channel. Let me know if you want to see any other deck profiles. I have 10, so I'm going to get through those. If these series do well, then we might do some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff on here from time to time. Alright, with all that being said, this is Pallet Town Smeargle, signing out.